Ron Howard's life is a testament to the incredible strength it takes to survive the unforgiving nature of Hollywood. From his early days as a child actor to becoming a visionary director, Howard's journey has not been without its struggles. Behind the familiar, comforting smile and successful career lies a man who has fought for every moment of peace and success. His story began in Duncan, Oklahoma, on March 1st, 1954. Born to working actors Rance and Jean Howard, Ron was immersed in the world of film and television long before he could fully comprehend what it meant. The bright lights of Hollywood were not a mere backdrop to his life. They were the very fabric of his childhood, a fabric woven with both glamour and pain. A childhood lost to the camera's lens. Ron Howard's introduction to the world was under the bright lights of a film set, not in the warmth of family gatherings or childhood play. Before he could form full sentences, Ron was already familiar with the rhythm of cameras rolling and the buzz of busy studios. At just 18 months old, he found himself at the heart of an industry that demanded his presence rather than nurturing his growth. When the Howards moved to California, it was to chase the dream of television fame. But that dream came with a price. Ron's childhood, filled with casting calls and studio schedules, meant he missed out on the carefree days other children experience. Instead, he learned early on about the weight of grown-up problems and the pressure of being in the public eye. Loneliness, behind the smiles, a young actor's struggles. The pressure of being a child star also led to emotional and social difficulties for Ron. His classmates and peers at school twisted his character, calling him names like Dopey and Mopey, a constant reminder that being Opie Taylor didn't shield him from cruel childhood taunts. The deep sense of isolation was compounded by moments of humiliation, such as the day he wet his pants in front of others, a memory that stuck with him for years. Though he found some comfort in his acting, Ron never felt the camaraderie that others did. As a young boy, he panicked during routines and feared disappointing those around him. This early emotional strain shaped him into a man who understood the true weight of fame, a weight often invisible to the public. Adolescence and the struggle to break free. As Ron entered adolescence, the character of Opie Taylor seemed to follow him everywhere. Fame that should have been freeing became a shackle, with casting directors frequently telling him that he was too recognizable and unable to break away from his iconic role. At the age of 13, Ron found a glimmer of hope in The Monroes, a project that promised to give him a new identity. But the show was abruptly canceled after just 26 episodes. The failure was crushing, leaving him feeling as though his career had peaked too soon. It was a devastating blow that would shape his next move in Hollywood. He feared he would always be seen as that boy from Mayberry, unable to evolve or grow. The rise of a director. From Night Shift to Splash. Ron's journey as a director began in 1982 with Night Shift, a modest film that earned respectable returns. More importantly, it proved to the world and to himself that he could successfully lead a set, direct actors, and turn a vision into reality. In 1984, Ron directed Splash, a romantic comedy that became a major hit, earning over $69 million and cementing his place as a bankable director. This success allowed him to expand his horizons, co-founding Imagine Entertainment in 1985, with producer Brian Grazer. Together, they built a powerhouse that would produce some of the most resonant and influential films of modern cinema. By the mid-1980s, Ron Howard had finally transitioned from actor to director, and his future looked brighter than ever. The relentless pursuit of perfection, the price of success. Despite his newfound success, Ron Howard's drive for excellence came with a cost. He worked tirelessly, often pushing himself to the point of exhaustion. His days were filled with long hours on set, meetings with executives, and editing sessions that stretched well into the night. The pressures of his profession weighed heavily on him, leaving little time for family or personal life. The relentlessness that fueled his career also took a toll on his relationships, especially with his wife Cheryl and their children. While Ron achieved success and recognition, the sacrifices he made in his personal life were not lost on him. He had built a career, but at times, he felt disconnected from the people who mattered most. A personal struggle, family, loss, and the burden of success. In the midst of his professional rise, Ron Howard faced devastating personal challenges. His mother, Jean, was battling heart complications, and his brother, Clint, was struggling with addiction. As Ron reached the peak of his career with Apollo 13, a film that earned over $350 million worldwide and garnered 9 Academy Award nominations, the weight of personal loss was ever present. His mother's declining health and his brother's ongoing battle with addiction cast a shadow over his success. Despite his fame, Ron learned that no amount of professional achievement could protect him from the emotional turmoil of losing loved ones. His career could not shield him from the fragility of life. The heartbreaking loss of his mother. When Ron received the news that his mother's health was failing, the cameras didn't capture the grief that overwhelmed him. Jean Howard, the woman who had been his rock throughout his tumultuous childhood, was slipping away. In the quiet of hospital corridors, Ron reflected on all the moments he had missed, moments spent on set instead of by his mother's side. The regret was palpable, and when Jean passed away in 2000, the grief was unlike anything Ron had ever experienced. He realized that while his career had brought him fame and success, it had also created a distance between him and the people who loved him. Before the world knew his name, success had given him everything except the time he needed with the ones who mattered most. The struggles with addiction. Ron's brother Clint. Just as Ron was coping with the loss of his mother, his brother Clint's struggles with addiction intensified. Clint, a talented actor in his own right, faced battles that Ron could not fight for him. Despite interventions and tearful confrontations, Clint's addiction continued to consume him. Ron tried desperately to save his brother, believing that if he worked harder, earned more, and built a stronger foundation, he could pull Clint back from the brink. But addiction doesn't care about wealth or success. It consumes, regardless of how much support is offered. Ron was forced to come to terms with the painful reality that there are some battles that even love cannot win. A final loss, remembering Cindy Williams. In 2023, Ron Howard faced another heartbreaking loss when he learned that Cindy Williams, a dear friend and fellow actor from American Graffiti, had passed away. The news hit him like a sudden frost, leaving him speechless and overwhelmed with grief. Cindy's warmth and laughter had been a steadying force in his early career, and her unexpected death left a gaping hole in his heart. The loss of Cindy reminded Ron that life moves quickly, and sometimes the most important relationships go unspoken until it's too late. Her passing became another reminder of the fleeting nature of time and the importance of cherishing the moments we have with those who matter. A legacy of love, generosity, and family. Ron Howard's life is not just about fame or wealth. It is about the legacy he has created through his work, his family, and his generosity. He has given millions to charity, supporting young filmmakers, art students, and children's hospitals, but he has never publicized it. His kindness is quietly given, just as his parents taught him. Through his family, his films, and his charitable efforts, Ron Howard's true legacy is one of love and resilience. He has learned the hard way that the greatest measure of success is not how much you achieve, but how much you give and how deeply you love.